Hello everybody, my name is Nick Starwind and welcome to Nick's Random Reviews, where we're finally finishing Mations Horrors. Oh my god, I'm so happy to be done with it. It has taken so long. I've moved locations once more because when you have a baby you have to give up your only office space. Not every time, it's just either moving or because I had to, or just general. I just felt like a change of scenery. So yes, we are going to finish Formations with Passion Cake, the one I really don't like. So, gah. Passion Cake, from what I can remember, was the actual reason why I decided to start looking at these formation pieces for a short series of reviews. When I discovered this show and looked up the different films featured in it, the thumbnail for Passion Cake was so hideous and freaky to me. At the moment I watched it, my brain went, haha, this needs to be reviewed. Oddly enough, in the time since beginning this review to the finale, it has actually been removed off YouTube. For whatever reason, I don't know, except that they don't want people to see the spawn of Satan. So what can be said about Passion Cake in a short summary? Well, it's a claymation parody on fairy tales. Or, a much grimmer version of the Brothers Grimm tales. About your typical princess and troll scenario, but with a much more f***ed up approach to the design choice. If anything, the closest thing to comparison would be the demon of the old YouTube days. Now, obviously those two words will be bleeped out, because they're bad words, obviously. And if you want to find out more, there's a link in the description below if it hasn't been removed from YouTube as well. So what other information is there about this film? Well, actually nothing. All I know is that it was shown on Formations and was made in 1992 by a Nikita Mitchel, who I have no idea who she is. There is no information about her, except that she was probably one of the dark ones before Homer Godin came and put a stop to their silly shenanigans of making scary films. This is probably why Joan Ashworth isn't remembered either, because if you remember the clip I showed you during Cornucopia, you'd understand why, and as a reminder, here it is again. You're welcome. And sadly, this is all I really have on the film. So, let's just jump into this really crappy quality VHS tape and see what the fuss is about. Spoilers, there's a lot of fuss. But I will save you the best until it actually happens. No warnings, no, like precursors or here it comes. You will just know when it happens. So let's go kicking and screaming into Passion Cake. So our film begins with this impressive backdrop of a castle and countryside scenery as the narrator introduces us to the story.
Long, long ago in a far-off land, there lived a fair princess. Her Royal Highness Princess Tub was a delightful creature.
Oh no, the tape is knackered. God. As much as I would like to stop this now, I'd best sort it out somehow, but then again this is the digital copy, so there's not much I can do. Let's just bear with it, shall we? Let's see here, let's see. Oh god. It's looking right at me. What have I done? I think I'm gonna... Oh my god, what was that? Oh, it's all a dream. Oh, thank God. I thought it was real. I thought it was...
I am sorry, you are haunting. You will die alone.
So, yes. This is our... thing. Ugh. Just put you there for the moment. Who is eating her waiting food as she pines over the fact that no guy will go within a 50-mile radius of her, as they may turn to stone, no doubt. Who the hell thought this was a good idea to design someone this horrific? I understand parody, I understand satire, Shrek, Hoodwinked, we get it, but this is like American Horror Story, or heck, 80s horror, like, Freddy versus, words. But as this narrator says, whose description sounds a lot like he was shown a picture of Princess Diana and all footage kept away from him, she is pretty much happy eating her weight in food and being a villain for the Evil Dead 2. This is until one day when, realising she weighs more than the small country, she goes out for some exercise.
She went for a brisk walk in the garden. At last, glowing from her exertions, she sat down for a rest.
For God's sakes, did no one do a quality control on these designs? I feel the art department had it in for the director, so they just blew the budget on these David Firth puppets. I mean, I get that it's satire, but it's just gross. Not even Ren and Stimpy went this far, and it had a creepy moment when a horse with a fetish for rubber is keeping a walrus hostage.
Call the police.
So, bearing in mind this was actually made by someone for television, while doing her quote, exercise, she decides to forego that activity and sit down to continue giving Gluttony a handjob, when all of a sudden...
There, looking down at her, was a friendly neighbourhood troll.
Oi! Oi! Go away!
Small neighbourhood then if that creepy lord the rapist is considered friendly.
That's my cake. Give.
Only if you give me a kiss.
And who said you shouldn't judge a book by its cover? In this very quick moment and lack of clarity, this troll just jumps the princess out of desperation or severe blindness and wants to get a kiss from her.
Kissy, kissy. No bother.
Because due to by far the least creepiest part of this video of exposition, if he is kissed by a princess, then he will turn into a heart's desire. Which I really hope is the end credit sequence.
Climbing down from the tree, he followed the princess into the castle.
Even though he could probably go find a more willing and less horrific candidate, he breaks into the castle and is promptly thrown out by the princess because they probably couldn't afford a fourth model to make the execution scene for committing treason.
Princess Tub decided to take a nap.
Bedtime.
You gotta get that beauty sleep. I'd say about 10,000 years should do the trick.
Plenty of room over this side, Ducky.
If this rapey is considered friendly, then what the hell is considered an unfriendly troll?
Oh my god!
You may pick from whichever is best. Knowing that he won't be getting it through consented means, he goes straight for her weakness and disposes of all the food in the castle, excluding one Christmas pudding.
In exchange for a kiss.
Oh, right then I'll kiss you if you promise to go away.
What's your problem? Kiss me and I'll become your heart's desire.
Yeah.
Oh god, I don't like where this is going.
The troll pouted sexily.
I don't think that's possible.
Come on then, give us a kiss.
Oh no, here it comes. Oh no, they've combusted. God, what a shame. There's only so much ugly that the world can take, I guess. Damn it! I never get what I want! So, can you guess what he turned into? Are you as predictable as the writer is? Well, drum roll please. You were right! Yes, he was turned into a giant chocolate cake. Because obviously a starved face was going to want that more than kissing a troll. And the troll was never heard from again. Probably eaten alive and then given a bad rating on Just Eat for poor takeaway service. And that is the end of Passion Cake. Did you endure the full 4 minutes like I did? Out of all 4 of these animations, I consider this one to be the freakiest out of them all. Not because of the story itself, because it's as plain as a cracker, but because of the design. Where the previous 3 had some recognition and actually won an award for the story they were telling, they also had the benefit of a great art department, with films like Toxic taking the stop motion art form to a new level, creating disturbing images but fitting to the construct of the narrative. Passion Cake's issue is that the story is just a lame parody of fairy tales and is just being disgusting for disgusting's sake, and think it's being clever by having this sort of pantomime-esque narrator who is pointing out the exact opposite about the characters, trying to make it kind of whimsical, but really just pushing up the schoolboy antics and acting like an 8-year-old wrote this. As I said before, when I first saw this, the appearance alone is what scored it high on the list, not even for the story. Those bulging eyes, spotty face, and that tongue that will not stay in the mouth for 2 minutes would have just had anyone turn the channel without a second thought. It's so grotesque that it pushes audiences away rather than pull them in. At least with Salad Fingers, the Demon, and more recently the Shivering Truth, it holds all its cards back until you've sat there for at least 2 minutes at best before throwing the shock value at you, and because you've already committed to it, you stay until the end with the morbid curiosity to watch more afterwards. Sandman and Cornucopia do this quite well, where it gives you enough time to soak in the atmosphere before sticking 2 fingers up at you, and Toxic is more of an art installation more than a character-driven story, which is probably why it won an award for its visual metaphors. But without crapping on Passion Cake too much, these were 4 of a massive variety of short films showed on Four-mations during this time. Back in the days where we didn't really have an outlet for sharing our videos and having to risk thousands of pounds entering festivals only to be rejected or disappearing the moment the festival was over and wasting all that money. So I guess Four-mations wasn't all that picky when it came to the animations they chose, which is why something as shocking as Passion Cake made the cut. But then again, you could probably find a bunch of Passion Cake-esque animations on YouTube on Newgrounds, seeing as we can now access videos so easily. But unlike Channel 4, we know what to ignore too. So this is the end of Mations Horrors. I am so glad that's done. I'm sorry it has taken me so long to get this finished. I mean, just with the baby coming and just having not really the time to sit down and come up with the right ideas, because the general issue was that I was going to be repeating myself throughout this. They were horrible, they were grotesque, and they were freaky, but there were some differences that I actually figured out over time and appreciated better, especially with the fact that you guys have been commenting and giving your views on it as well. Especially that great article about Sandman being shown to a bunch of primary school kids by accident. That was brilliant. I didn't even think that'd be possible, but I'm sure they all slept with their eyes wide open that night as well. But yeah, there are tons of other animations that I've only just recently heard about that were on Four-mations, especially by one of the viewers who commented. So, you know, if you want me to do this again, and I can actually attempt to get it done more quickly, if you find me 4 more maybe, or maybe some that are just as freaky, even away from the Four-mations ones, I can always bring it back and give it a new name or something like that, and, you know, not do the Square Enix approach. So, you know, as always, I've been Nick Starwind. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. You know, tell a friend, write on a badge or throw out a window. Maybe not on a brick though, because you'll assault somebody and have to go to prison. But you can tell people in prison about me, because I'm sure they get YouTube in prison, because they can't just sit in their cells all day. They've got PlayStation and all this lot, more luxury than we have sometimes. But anyway, that's a bit of a track there. But yeah, make sure to tell as many people who will care, and I shall see you next time. And we're done. Passion Cake is over. I never have to watch the again. Yes, goodbye.